So we're going to be doing a bass line today at 16 levels, recording a bass line with 16 levels. We're continuing on chapter 9 of the MPCX Bible, and if you have it, please download the tutorial files and load them up. I'm going to start up my MPCX right now and get the speakers turned on. Yeah, so chapter 9 of the tutorial files. We have the My First Project file with the shadow kit loaded up. We're continuing on directly from where we were at chapter 8, and yeah, if you're able to hit the notification, get notified about these live streams on Twitch, and follow, subscribe. Anything else to support the channel would be appreciated, and we'll get the production value looking a little bit better over time. Okay, so let's get into it here. I'll take a little sip of water and we'll get going. So we've sampled and topped and tailed a really nice bass note. Wouldn't it be great if we could use this one single note to create our own bass lines? Setting up the bass sample. Even if you only have a single bass sample, we can use that single sound to create a bass line for our beat. When we originally loaded the bass note from the previous sampling tutorial, dub bass note, we simultaneously assigned it to pad A05. I don't think, oh yeah, it's on the Shadow Kit V2. Alright, if you've not continued directly from chapter 8, you can load the Shadow Kit V2 program from the chapter 9 folder with the dub bass note sample already assigned to pad A05. Preview pad A05, like we just did. This bass note is very loud compared to the rest of the kit. So let's head over to Pad Mixer to adjust the volume of this pad. Set the volume for A05 to minus 8.80 decibels. Now currently, when hitting A05, our bass note plays all the way through from start to finish. When playing an instrument note, it would be better if we could dynamically control the length of the sound, just like we'd expect when playing a bass patch on a keyboard. Go to Program Edit, Global, and change Sample Play setting from one shot to note on. Now briefly touch pad A05 and you'll hear that the bass sound stops playing the moment you take your finger off the pad. That's much better. However, when you let go of the pad, you can hear a nasty click. To fix this, we need to head back to our old friend, the amp envelope. Press envelopes to view the amp envelope settings for this pad. Instead of the usual AD, attack and decay envelope, we see that selecting note on has given us an ADSR envelope with 4 adjustable parameters. ADSR stands for attack, decay, sustain, and release. Take a look at a generic ADSR envelope example. So, kind of looks like that in the MPCX Bible. Oh yeah, so they actually have the amount set right there, so you can just take a look at that. That's how they had it set up. So the attack A works in the exact same manner as the AD envelope, controlling the initial fade in of the pad, with a default attack of 0 giving us the sharpest start possible. The decay, D, now controls how long it takes for the volume of the pad to reach the sustained portion, S, which is where the volume of our pad is kept or sustained at a constant level. Finally, the release, R, controls the time it takes for the pad to fade to nothing after you physically release the pad. In this example, let's just concern ourselves with the release setting at the end. With the default release of 0, when you stop playing the pad, no fade out is added, and you get that nasty sudden click upon releasing the pad. But the higher the release value you add, the more gradual decay is added to the end of the pad. Keep briefly previewing pad A05 as you gradually adjust the release value. Okay, and that sounds good. You should gradually hear that the click at the end disappears at around 40, but let's set it to 65. Okay. That'll also give the bass note a little bit of additional fade at the end so it sounds more natural. Okay. You can change the release with the data wheel, drag the R icon directly on the screen, or use the bottom Q-link dial in the second column of the Q-links. Alright, so this is all we need to change on the envelope for this sample. So I'm just setting it to their example that they have there on the screen. Zero 06 127 65. Okay. So this is all we need to change, but we'll be learning more about ADSR envelopes as we move through the course. So for the remainder of this chapter, we'll be using the version of this you can view the version of the kit so far by loading up the Shadow Kit Bass.xpm from the Chapter 9 folder. Shadow Kit Bass. .xpm, there it is. Alright, so next we're going to be changing the pitch of your sample. Go to Program, Edit, Samples, and hit pad A05. Take a look at the key parameter. This tells us what the MPC believes is the musical key or pitch of this particular sample, and it detected it as A. The MPC detects this automatically, and for single notes like this, it's typically very accurate, and in this case it is detected accurately. If you wish to double check the key of a single note sample, you can use the MPC's built-in tuner. Go to Menu, tap on the tuning fork icon at the top, and this brings up the tuner screen. So the tuner can be used to check the tuning of any incoming audio signal. To check the tuning of an internally stored sample, set input channel to resample left and right. Unless you have a specific reason for changing it, leave frequency of A set to the standard 440 Hertz. Press and hold pad A05 and you should see the following. The A showed up on the screen there when I hit it. So it's detecting accurately the note that I'm playing. That's pretty cool. Alright, so this shows that the tuning is just approximately 4 cents too sharp. Okay. A cent is the unit used when adjusting fine tuning in Program Edit. 100 cents in a semitone. This is a very small amount, but if you wish, you can now adjust the tuning of the raw sample itself to ensure it is closer to perfection. You can do this using the tune parameter in Sample Edit. The tune parameter here doesn't use semi and instead you can enter a single tuning value to 2 decimal places. The decimal places represent the fine elements. So if the bass sample is 4 cents too sharp, we need to reduce the tuning of the bass by -4 cents to counter this. Hold down Shift and turn the data wheel anti-clockwise like I just did until tune reads -0.04. Why is the tuning continually changing? We'll get into that in a sec. I'm just going to take a quick sip of water. Hello everybody tuning in today. Please follow subscribe, and hit the notification so you know when my next Twitch stream will be. It's every day, 10 to 11 a.m. But we will incorporate other things at different times. This is just getting the channel up and started and learning the ins and outs of it. So hopefully you're enjoying this and learning a little bit about the MPCX, and we can all build a little community around learning together. All right. So why is the tuning continually changing? Acoustic samples very rarely have a constant pitch. This is especially true with strings instruments like a bass guitar, as the string itself can vibrate erratically, and also the bass player himself is probably adding a small amount of vibrato when playing. Generally speaking, you need to accept that the tuning is going to change over time. PC tuner specifically, you'll definitely have the same issues when using guitar tuners or smartphone apps. Tuning of external instruments. If you were looking to check the tuning of an analog synth connected to audio input 1, simply set the input channel to input 1. I don't think they're talking about on this screen here though. They must be talking about on main mode, opening it up, and being in the audio section, you can set it to input 1. Okay. Simply play a note from the synth and adjust the synth's own global tune dial until the MPC's tuner shows the synth's output as a perfect C. I don't think I have an external synth, but I don't know if I have it hooked up to channel input 1. Let's see. No, I don't think so. let's see if it shows the actual keys. It's trying to register something. Yeah, it got a C there. Just what I was looking for. No. Let's see. Not really registering there. I did see a C at one point. It's hard to get a C with a snare. So they're saying adjust the synth's own global dial tune dial until the MPC's tuner shows the synth's output is a perfect C. So adjust the synth's global tune dial until the MPC's tuner shows the synth's output is a perfect C. I'm not sure what they mean by that. Like, do they mean right there? I saw a C there. But what's this frequency of A? Can you change this to frequency of C? Like, I don't know what they're talking about, really. I'm kind of confused by what they mean. The synth's global tune dial. synth global tune dial. Tune is right here, so how would you know it's a C unless you... I'd have to keep going back and forth to check it out in here. Is that what it is? Okay, well I think I get the idea of what they were trying to do here, but playing through that speaker, but why is it not playing through? The in it wouldn't be on there though. I guess I'd have to have a synth loaded up as a program. Because I don't have a synthesizer. Okay. Anyway, I just want to keep it going here, I guess. Kind of getting lost and trying to figure out this one little section, but I get the idea of them wanting me to go back to the tuner and playing the synth until the tuner hits a perfect C. By adjusting the tune dial, it'll change the note on it until it's correct, from what I understand. Let me see if I can get it to do it. I'd really like to. Okay, so I'm getting an A right now, but if I change the tune, okay, now it's a D, right? Okay. But yeah, it's so weird. You have to keep going back. Unless there's a Q link here for it. No. Yeah, so basically you got to keep going back to this page, changing the tune. Going back to menu, picking up the tuner. So if you know your notes really well, you know, that would probably help, but if I can do it. Where was, oh yeah, sample edit. I understand what they mean now. Sorry it took me a minute on that. Let's give a shout out to everybody that's here. If you're able to, jump in the chat. Also follow, subscribe, and yeah, hit the notification so you know whenever my next stream is. I'm always 10 to 11 a.m. with the MPCX, but we'll be adding more things soon. Alright, so I'm going to just put this back where it was, now that we kind of get an understanding of what they mean by having an external sound source. Even though it wasn't really, I was using the internal sounds, but using an external source to control it. I think I get what they mean though, that you can adjust it that way by turning that global tune dial. Alright, so overriding incorrect key detection. If you feel the MPC has incorrectly detected the key for a sample, you can easily override it. Head over to Sample Edit, Trim, and hit the white arrow on the right hand side of the screen. This will open up the sample detection screen. Here you can hit the detect key, detect key button. Okay. To force the MPC to have another go at detecting the key, but you can also manually set a different key using the key parameter. It's detecting an A major, I guess. So at the moment, we have a single bass note in the key of A, and we can use this to build a bass line complete with a little help from the drum program's tuning options. Hold down the copy button and bring up the copy pad screen. And while still holding down the copy button, hit pad A05. This will set A05 as the from pad and simultaneously enable the ability to add some to pads. You can now hit any pads you wish to copy pad A05 to. Select bank B and hit pads B1 to B8. Once you have selected them all, hit Do It. Now preview all 8 pads and you'll hear they are all identical. Am I on the wrong kit right now though? Oh no, that's it. And once you've selected them all, hit Do It, okay. You've heard they're all identical. Now the next stage is to begin tuning all these pads to create a run of notes. The distance between a musical note in the standard musical scale C, C sharp, D, E, etc., is called a semitone. And in the MPC, this difference is represented by a semi-tuning change of plus or minus 1. So let's use pad B04 as our zero tune pad. We'll leave this pad tuned to the default 0, giving us a bass note with a pitch of A. Now select pad B05. In the Program Edit Sample screen, you'll need to change the semi value for the layer 1 to 1. Okay. Notice how the key for this pad now changes from A to A sharp. Showing C sharp for me. That's a full semitone higher than pad A04. Okay. The original one was on C, so now it's on C sharp. I see. Okay. So sorry about that. And now press B06 and press the plus button twice to increase the semi tuning to 2. Giving a note in the key of D. Set the semi value of B07 to plus 03. Or just plus 3, and B8 to plus 4. Now we'll drop the pitch for the pads that come before our 0 pad B04. So set the semi for B03 to a minus 1. A key of B, and B02 to minus 2, and B01 to minus 3. Now starting on B01, press all the pads one at a time in order to hear your chromatic bass guitar emulation. It's clear it would be easy to create a bass line from these 8 pads, and you could of course continue this across all the pads in this bank. You get the idea. Yeah. However, there's a quicker way of mapping a single bass note across all the pads for 16 levels. A sharp or B flat. On a piano, the white keys are the natural notes of C, D, E, F, G, A, and B. The notes that occur in between these, the black keys, are called accidentals and are referred to as either sharp or flat. For example, the note that occurs between A and B is a B flat, or it can be called an A sharp. Acoustically, there is no difference between an A sharp or a B flat. They are the same note. They sound the same and both represent sound waves vibrating at the exact same frequency. There is a difference from musical theory perspective, but that's beyond the scope of this book. You'll find that the MPC may refer to these accidentals differently in different sections of the firmware. For example, in the key detection related screens, you'll only see sharps, never flats. However, in key group programs, which we'll be working with in the next chapter, a mixture of sharps and flats are used. The takeaway from this is that it doesn't actually matter whether you refer to an accidental by a sharp or flat name. It's the same note. C sharp is D flat, D sharp is E flat, F sharp is G flat, G sharp is A flat, A sharp is B flat. Recording a bass line with 16 levels. Heading over to bank A and selecting pad A05. Now press the dedicated 16 level button in the hardware. Make sure tune is selected so the original pad option is activated. Oh, okay, I see what they mean. Set the original pad to be A5. Hit close, and now run through pads A01 to A16. Alright, the first thing you might notice is that our drum kit has disappeared. Instead, we have our bass note mapped out chromatically across all 16 pads in bank A. In 16 levels mode, all 16 pads are really just active clones of the same master pad A05. With tune selected as the type, each pad features with a progressive tuning change of plus or minus 1. So when you play pad A06, in reality you are simply playing pad A05 with a +1 tuning. Hit pad A04 and you get a pad A05 played at a tuning of -1. Hit pad A16 and you'll get a pad A05 with a tuning of +11. All other existing samples on the pads in your program are ignored or hidden while you're operating in 16 levels mode. Only the master pad is used in this case, A05. Don't worry, your drum kit will return as soon as you leave the 16 levels mode. This is easy by pressing the 16 levels button again. Also notice that while you're in the 16 levels mode, the 16 levels... Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 2-minute break and we'll get into that in a second. Shout out to DJ Whisper 1984. Check him out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 8 p.m. Does Thirsty Thursdays. It's a lot of fun. Anybody else, please jump in the chat. I'm trying to get a goal of 5 people chatting at once. I don't know if I even have 5 people in the stream today, but that would be very kind of you all to jump in the chat today if you're able to. Alright, so let's continue on here. So we're gonna actually load up the 16 levels.sqx. Sorry, 16 levels.sxq is what it shows it as here. Did I load that up? 16 levels. Oh yeah, the sequence is called 16 levels. Okay. Right on. So it's loaded up. That was a quick load. So that was under the 009 folder in the tutorial files if you're following along. This 4-bar beat recorded on track 1 based on the sequences we created during the grid edit and quantizing chapters. Press play start to hear it. Now we've got 4 bars of drums to record our new bass line over. Now we could record this bass line to the sample track as our drums, or I mean the same track as our drums, but generally speaking it's normally a good idea to place different instruments on their own tracks. Why? Well, apart from being a much more organized way of working, it can make the mixing significantly easier. You'll also find tracking out your beat to third-party software, for example DAWs, are far more pleasurable experience. We'll look at these issues later on. Alright, so let's create a dedicated sequencer track for our bass line. In main, tap on track 1 drums and hit the plus button. Alternatively, just hit the track plus button at the bottom of the screen, or you could do what I just did and I had it selected and just turn the data wheel. Your new track is now created and is currently labeled as unused, so hit the A icon at the end of the row and rename it to bass. Alright, and next double check that the track is record armed. Red record icon on the track. Alright. Now you're ready to start your bass line to track 2 of your current sequence. Initially, press play start and play around with some bass line ideas. Use any TC setting you prefer. The same goes for full level. Turn this on if you wish. I'd actually advise that you do, as this is a big and deep bass sound, so any variances in velocity will be quite obvious and might detract from the rest of the beat. To record your bass line, hit record and play start and start hitting your pad. A simple bass line like that, so we can hit record and play start and start hitting your pads. And there you go, just a simple bass line. get the idea. Changing program parameters in 16 levels mode. If you wish to change any program parameters to the sound you've applied 16 levels to, you must make the changes specifically to the master pad, in this case the pad A05, and make the changes specifically to that pad. Any changes to that master pad are then automatically reflected in all the other pads in Bank A, because they're all simply virtual copies of pad A05 with a different tuning applied. It's weird. The Shadow Kit bass didn't really apply the bass to the 16 pads like I had expected, but just by tossing it on the 16 levels, I was able to play just as if it was. I guess when I loaded it up, I didn't load it up properly. So anyway, did it the other way around, recorded it. You get the whole general idea. Hopefully you did it properly. If not, you can always revisit that at a later date. Just go through the instructions on the MPCX Bible. All right. So I think we're coming up to the end of the day. Good one. Good one. That was a quick load. There's a lot of bots. You got 2 viewers. Okay. I didn't realize you get bots as viewers. Interesting. Okay. Something to watch out for. Well, anyway, that's my typical amount of people is 2 viewers so far, so that's a good day for me. So hopefully we can get some more people tuning in the future, but I'm not disappointed at all. Thank you for showing up, who my viewers are. I'm glad you're here, and glad you could make it on a weekday. So let's, for the last 5 minutes, we'll load up the beat I made on Sunday, and we'll just have some outro music, and I'll play around with that as we let it tune out for the day. We'll continue tomorrow, 10 to 11 a.m. with the finishing touches on recording a bass line with 16 levels, Chapter 9. Please follow, subscribe, and hit the little bell for the notifications on when my next stream is. And yeah, we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. That's good to know. Thank you. And tune in to DJ Whisper 1984, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I believe at 8 p.m. Hopefully that's correct. And yeah, he's got a great show, lots of fun, and some great music. So with that, let's hit play on this. Out, everybody.